Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Tio, and my goal through these videos is to help men go from an anxious attachment style to a more secure attachment style. And by the end of this video, I'm gonna talk about a concept which talks about healing and coping. Now, what even is anxious attachment in the first place? It can be categorized with behaviors of feeling insecure in relationships. It may be fearing abandonment from other people. It may be having thoughts stuck inside of you and you're not really able to communicate them to the person outside, because if you do, you believe that they will leave you. If you truly reveal who you are, deeply who you are, you believe that the people around you will inevitably leave you, because you need to keep playing this fake facade of appearing better than you are. So what this creates is fears. This creates fears based on other people being with you or leaving you, and other people actually meeting your needs. I want to introduce the concept of healing and coping. I want you to imagine that on a spectrum. On one side there's healing, on the other side there's coping. What we mean by coping is using methods or techniques or something in the present moment to cope with whatever hurts, whatever pain, whatever resentment we are feeling. So an example of coping could be that you feel very emotionally neglected or deeply hurt, but instead of actually addressing that situation, instead of actually addressing your feelings, what you tend to do is you tend to pick up your phone and you start scrolling on it, and you keep scrolling and ignoring what you are feeling inside. But what you try to do is you hide that feeling inside of you, and eventually, because you haven't looked at it, it will burst like a balloon in front of people that truly care about you, but you don't know how to communicate with them. On the other side of you have healing, which is instead of scrolling on our phones, instead of doing things that distract us, we tend to look at the underlying situations, the underlying causes of those things, and we try to heal them. For example, you may feel anxious right now, and instead of focusing on scrolling on your phone, you try to heal it. And what you find is that there is a fear of abandonment from what happened in the past, whether that be your parents or a past relationship or a past friendship. And instead of addressing those feelings, you try to cover them up with coping. So just to demonstrate what I'm talking about in a more tangible way where you can understand. So think about, there's 2 points. On one side, there is healing. On the other side, there is coping. And you either do things that will get you closer to healing, or you do things which will get you closer to coping. So think of healing as the more long-term solution, the delayed gratification, and think of coping as the more short-term solution. It's not even a solution, it's just hiding what you feel. It's more like instant gratification. Think about healing as going to the gym, putting those workouts in, getting your diet correct, and focusing fully on the task. And coping is basically like instant gratification. That is where you eat the sweets, you eat the candy, you eat the junk food, and you expect something magical to happen. But in order to make what you want to happen, that good body, you need to focus on healing. You need to focus on the long-term gratification that you will feel. And it's not instantly that you're going to feel healed. It's going to take time. There's going to be turns. It's not like a straight path. It's like it's going to take you all over until you get there. So I'm just going to draw something to show you how it actually looks like in real life. So imagine this ball. Imagine that is your consciousness, and the thing above it is your consciousness, like your conscious, and the thing below it is your subconscious mind. So basically, this is what you think, feel, smell. That is all that you can feel consciously. This is all your subconscious things. Now, what tends to happen when someone hurts you is something rooted in the subconscious springs up into your consciousness. When something hurts you and some other person has triggered that, your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind takes it to your conscious mind, and then you are able to feel it. You're able to see the wound more clearly. It's kind of like someone else taking your plaster off and showing you the wound. It's kind of like that. So what most people do in that situation is they cope. What they do is either they play video games, or they focus on something else. They eat a lot of food. There's people that eat food in order to hide what they feel. There's all sorts of things. It's kind of like covering this whole thing up, and it's like you're not able to see it anymore because you've covered it all up. So what happens is, when we're talking about coping, this is what we mean. When something arises, we discard it, we hide it. This doesn't exist. We try to hide that from ourselves. And what healing essentially is that when you feel hurts, when these unconscious or subconscious feelings go above in your conscious, instead of focusing on here, you focus on where those feelings are even coming from. And when you focus on where those feelings are coming from, that is the perfect moment when you can actually focus on healing the situation. And you may be asking, how do I heal these subconscious wounds that I've faced in the past? Now, there's a lot of things that you can do practically in order to help you solve those wounds. What I mean by solving those wounds, I don't mean there's going to be an answer that you find and finally everything's going to click. It's going to be like a topsy-turvy journey from then. So let me just write it down there. Healing. So essentially, there's two things, or there's a lot of things, but there's two main things which you can do in the situation. Number one is to allow those feelings to be. When you feel triggered by certain things happening, instead of coping, try seeing them for what they actually are. If you just let them be, you now discover something about yourself. You discover what you like and what you don't like. And when you know what you want and you don't want, now it's easier for you to actually communicate with a person of what you want and what you don't want. The way to deal with that is essentially practicing the art of emotional regulation. And emotional regulation is essentially being able to look at your emotions and not take them that seriously. I'm not saying to not take them that seriously as in ignoring them. I'm saying that in a perspective where you don't let your emotions dictate what you feel like. You don't let your emotions dictate your current mood. It's kind of like not letting the weather dictate your mood. So whatever you feel, you need to allow that to pass throughout your body. It's kind of like sending shock waves through your body. Let that be. And then after that, what you can do with these situations is trace why that is the case. Trace why you feel that way. If something above triggers you, you need to ask yourself, why does that trigger me? Why? You'll get to like a vague answer, like, oh, because this happened. Why? Because this led me to this. And essentially what you do is you keep going through those whys and whys. Why? Why did this happen? Okay, this happened because of this. Why did that happen? And you keep going down until you get to a point where you find a solution of why that is happening. And you allow that to be. And from that point onwards, you try to allow that to be. You try to let it be. And I'm going to say one thing. It's not going to disappear. What's going to happen is you're trying to pull away the meaning that it holds on you. When you pull away the meaning, the thing doesn't really have any more power. It's kind of like a phone having like charge. If there's no more charge in the phone, you're not really able to use the phone. So if that doesn't make sense, leave a comment and I'll try to explain it in a more simpler way. So with that being said, I hope this video was beneficial for you. If you have any more questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. And if you like the video, make sure you like, drop a subscribe, because I'm going to be making more content for you guys. So with that being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.